Hello and welcome to the Churros y Tácticas Podcast. What a roller coaster of emotions, especially if you're Costa Rican. You're at some point when it was 2-1, you were probably levitating.
Yep.
So I'm sorry that it didn't work out for you, but I'm happy that you had that moment that no one will ever take away from you. At one point, you guys were going through against all odds, but that was taken away from you because Kai Havertz came in and scored a couple goals, and Germany won 4-2. Overturned it. Diego, wow. It kind of worked out for Spain.
Whew.
Kind of worked out for the best.
It did, massively.
And it actually worked out great for you because Germany are out. And now Spain has to play Morocco instead of Croatia.
And avoid Brazil. Let's not forget, avoiding Brazil. If we beat Morocco, move on to the next round, we would most likely meet Portugal instead of Brazil. So avoiding Brazil is a big one. No, listen, I've been telling all my friends, Lucho, listen to me. I texted him. I said, listen, it's going to be all right. We know the Germans, they're going to go all out for the win. Drop a couple of points. Hear me out. It's going to be okay against the Japanese. Just show that you can dominate them, that we are clearly superior. Let them have their crazy 10 minutes, overturn the score, then apply the pressure, put Ansu in. Actually, that was the first thing I said. And then we can show, the world in the final few minutes that, of course, we can still tie the game and we'll play intense, energetic football, tiki-taka, great chances. And we will go through, give Germany the illusion that we tried. We avoid Croatia and Brazil in the process. Happy days, few, close call. Like you said, Costa Rica were through. And Germany and Spain were out for a few minutes. That was nuts. This was nuts.
So, as you know, I mean, this is kind of a post-game show for both of sorts because I did not watch Spain, but I watched Germany. Yeah. So between you and I, between the Churros and the Tácticas, we covered it all. And that's what makes Churros y Tácticas, so we can report on both games. But I kind of have no idea how the Spain game actually went other than looking at the numbers. I just know Spain had a lot of the ball. The second half seemed to be different from the first half. So why don't you talk me through what happened in that game?
Right. So, I mean, first half, it was as you would expect from this Spain side. A lot of domination, a lot of possession, very comfortable on the ball. What was missing is what we sometimes see missing with these teams that enjoy having a lot of possession of the ball, is that urgency, as I call it, right? There wasn't a lot of chances being created. It felt like in second or third gear, Spain felt like they could take care of business. Obviously, Morata with a great goal managed to put Spain ahead, and it felt like job done. At least that's the impression that the players sort of gave off, right? And I mean, I was going to say perhaps for a good reason, but not really, and especially not in these kind of tournaments. And I thank the Japanese for giving us a stark and stern reminder and reality check moving into the knockout stage, showing us that anything can happen. And this is not done until the fat lady sings, right? Because in the second half, in the span of, and you're going to have to, or I can check it now, Kiyan, I think it's no more than a minute or two that the Japan managed to get 2 quick goals back. I think there is controversy. I didn't check Twitter with regards to the decision of the 2-1, because to my understanding, to what I saw and to what other friends are texting me as well, is the ball went out. So there's a lot of questions. Well, sorry, you wouldn't have seen it. Let me describe it to you.
Basically, saw one Japan image, scored it, but I don't know anything else. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, but they crossed the ball that was, for the vast part of it had gone over the line, over the touchline, right? So out for a goal kick. But I guess by the sliverest of margins, it was still on the line. The ball was still touching the line. So the 2-1 went in, and that really rattled Spain. And it forced Lucho to make a lot of changes and really put in I don't want to say the big guns, but certainly I guess the his more reliable go-to in Jordi Alba in particular, I would say, counting on him sort of bombing up and down the left flank and doing what Jordi does. He brought on Ansu as well. He brought on Ferran. Firepower, obviously, stacking the front. I was a little bit surprised. Well, let me take this by parts. So, and really at that point in time, I mean, with the score as well, obviously against, and having the scare of Costa Rica actually leading, being up one on Germany, it was all of a sudden a whole different Spain that all of a sudden realized they needed to get their act together and their shit together and really turn it up a notch, because this is the World Cup. And if you're not taking this serious each and every single minute and second that you're out there, you can pay for it in the blink of an eye. And it was really that close until naturally Germany, it ended 4-2. And with that 2-goal cushion for the Germans, and also the goal cushion, obviously, that Spain still has, I think Germany still had to score 5 goals, if I'm not mistaken. Did they want to go through ahead of Spain in second place? Having that, kind of reliable goal cushion and goal advantage over the Germans, you felt that sort of Spain was happy to keep possession and try to create chances and still at least tie the game. They could have. There were several chances for Dani Olmo. I felt that, and call me biased here, but I felt that the presence of Ansu gave the front line and also the fullbacks, even the midfield, so many more options. Just the way that he moves, he's constantly moving, he's constantly drawing either defenders with him or running into open spaces where Pedri and Jordi Alba can find him. And I felt that really gave the Spanish offense more space, more options. And but before let me refrain myself from going into an Ansu rant, which I'm really keen to do, because I was very disappointed, Kiyan, as you know, or as you can imagine, when I saw the starting 11 without Ansu in it. But also, I mean, Asensio, he gave he brought on Marco Asensio as well. So I felt that with that, we kind of got to see the Spain of old, and by that mean the Spain that we saw against Costa Rica, mainly, where it was possession but with intent, right? With intent passing, with a clear dynamism, or this dynamic, this vibrance to it, where they were just going for a goal, and they were playing with a chip on their shoulder and putting the Japanese under pressure. Again, credit to the Japanese, credit to Japan. Congratulations for going through. Well deserved. Beating Germany, beating Spain. Who would have thought, who would have said before the tournament that, the Japanese would be two of the world's most dominant footballing countries, right? And yeah, that's a wrap of that, pretty much.
Well, look, it's amazing that Japan just basically, what we now know is they beat the 2 toughest opponents in this group and then lost to the team.
Yeah.
They would have penciled in as the easiest, or the bunny of this group, the one that you just kind of like take 3 points as a freebie. It's amazing. It's like, I'm hearing you describe the Spain performance, and it's like all the Spain questions we always have. It's like, it's coming up again. What's concerning to me is that you look at the Japan goals, you look at the Germany chances against Spain, and you look at just their weaknesses in general. It's going to take a minute or two for them to unravel in moments. And this goes back, and part of the lack of urgency I think you described in some ways is, I suppose, fair if you're Spain, in that it would have really, really taken an earth-shattering miracle for them to be knocked out tonight. It just so happened that maybe it wasn't as crazy as we thought it was going to be for that to happen. Maybe we overlooked the fact that Japan can beat Spain. We overlooked the fact that Costa Rica, after losing 7-0, we thought we're not capable of even crossing the halfway line for the rest of this tournament. and they go up 2-1 versus Germany. And it wasn't that unthinkable. And this goes all the way back to, we recorded a post-game show after Spain-Germany. Sane has a breakaway at the end of that game. If he scores that breakaway, it's the biggest what if of the group stage for me. If he scores that breakaway, Spain are out tonight. Like, that's it. They're no longer in control of their fate if they lose to Japan. So they got really lucky in that moment. And my concern for them is that that moment is going to occur again, I think, at some point in this tournament. And the thing with Croatia is that, well, they're not playing Croatia. The thing with Morocco is that they're kind of this tight-knit defensive unit that has the wild card of, you know, really pacey overloads and full backs that can punish their high line, get in behind their wing backs. We know that Carvajal, if he starts, is a bit shaky. You know, whoever Spain put on the left back could be hit or miss. Gnabry gave Alba some problems in that game. Azpilicueta may be preferred for defensive purposes. Achraf and Mazraoui can get in behind. Ziyech is dangerous on the counter. You know, they have at least some kind of formula to have at least 1 or 2 chances against Spain in that game. And I'm just fascinated to see the variance, man. The variance with the Spain team is fascinating. Really fascinating.
It's the way they dominated that first half. I would imagine you would have been rather bored watching it, because the Japanese looked a shadow of themselves. I mean, they were literally chasing shadows across the pitch, and Lucho's side looked so comfortable on the ball, you know, passing the ball. There was not, I can't say there were a lot of chances created in the first half there, because there weren't. And that was, you know, it was that pass in the final third that was missing. We hear, and we see it with Xavi's Barca often as well. We hear him complain or mention it in press conferences, right? It's the bravery, the daring to either force an outside shot. Dani Olmo tried, but they were very weak shots, and you know, they were badly timed or from strange angles and strange positions. But something was coming from him. But other than that, there was just not much coming from this Spain side offensively, even though they had a very clear idea of, okay, you know, we want the ball, we have the ball, we've got the Japanese on the back foot. We're finding each other, but what's missing is that pass into the final third and actually make you know, an intentful, purposeful move, run, pass, and eventually shot on goal. That was just not there. And again, we saw that only after the 2-1. Once the Japanese had gone up, it was like all of a sudden it was a different game and a different Spain altogether. So I don't know if, you know, I get your worries, and maybe that is the Achilles heel and the eventual downfall, or possible downfall, I should say. Hopefully not, but possible downfall of this Spain side, and what will prevent us from winning the World Cup. On the other hand, you know, when push comes to shove, when there is more electricity, more urgency, or uncertainty in the air, like a knockout phase, in those kind of games, a one-off, a head-to-head, playing with that intent and that energy that we saw in those final 10 minutes, you know, you still have to say that Spain is the side to beat. And I know that maybe is not a popular thing to say now. I don't, you know, I'm not accusing our listeners, but fair. A lot of the press seem to, you know, they when it's 7-0, it's amazing, you know, we're world champions. And when it's a 1-1 against Germany, or now after this, there might be 1,000 questions and criticisms aimed at Luis Enrique. I still think, you know, that the foundation and the idea of this team is very good and good enough to make a run deep into the tournament.
I think it's fair to say that Spain are the team to be. I don't think that is an unfounded statement. I think what I acknowledge is that they're the team to beat and also the team to exploit. And like, look, every team has strengths and weaknesses. So, you know, we don't need to sit here and only focus on Spain's weakness when every team has it. I just think that whether it's right or wrong, Lucho's will be magnified a lot once that inevitable, if that collapse comes, I'll reward it, because some of his questions are some of his decisions are questionable, right? You know,
yeah.
But I don't think it's, we can simultaneously wax lyrical over the 7-0, but also be critical about, some of the other stuff. And I think that's the point. I don't think any team in this tournament has the variance that Spain has. You know what I mean? I don't know if Brazil has the same kind of variance,
defensive liabilities.
Yeah, I don't even think France also has that same kind of variance. But I think Spain has like the high and the low to the extreme, and that's what makes them so fascinating, So I'll give you also just a rundown of what happened in Germany, Costa Rica.
Please.
Not that it really matters too much, but it's basically...
How was Costa Rica leading at some point? Yeah, I'm very curious to hear this.
The scenes were incredible. I mean, basically how this game went was like the first half was kind of similar to Germany versus Japan, where they're totally in control. They have a lot of the ball. They're generating a bunch of chances. Musiala playing out of his mind, like amazing dribbling. Like he's just on fire. He just can't score. He's dribbling past 4 or 5 players. He's cutting in. He's shooting. Just a menace for Costa Rica all night. They're in control. And in the second half, there's a couple of just lapses. Costa Rica score 1-1 where they play a ball into the half space where Rudiger is. Rudiger gets dragged over. And then the cutback comes. Costa Rica, I think Neuer saves. Then there's a couple of rebounds that Germany is just not defending at all. And then after that, another goal comes. It just completely out of nowhere. And they're up 2-1. And then they have some counterattacks. And then basically until Havertz comes on, Rudiger is like this one-man defensive machine because Germany are pushing. They can't lose the game, obviously. And it's just this fascinating thing. And I'm not watching Spain-Japan, but in my mind, like, okay, Spain are losing to Japan. It's impossible that Spain don't just come back and score 4 or 5 goals, because I'm looking at how the first half went and all the possession stats. I'm like, okay, Japan scored 2 goals. Like, there's no way that holds. It turns out that held, and Germany are the ones who did their part in the end. But listen, man, Germany had shot themselves in the foot long before this game. The damage was done. I still can't believe that Sané missed at the end of the Spain game. Really, really would have just turned this game on its head. But as we said, man,
you wish Sané scored. Say it, boy.
Man, as a Real Madrid fan, we got
this is from a guy that used to say "we" when talking about the Spanish net. Wasn't that long ago, Kiyan? I remember we were talking about Spain.
I still support Spain. I'm like, from a Real Madrid fan perspective, we got Courtois coming home early. We got Rudiger coming home early. They're basically joining Kroos and co, getting some extended rest.
Is Benzema coming back?
No, I don't think
Is he going back to the World Cup?
There's something fishy going on there, man.
Yeah.
Something real fishy. I think there's definitely something happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, that they just were like, you know what? I think you should go home. I don't know if it's politics with Mbappe, some politics with Deschamps. Let's spin this story. Let's make it seem like you're injured. I think he's injured. I'm not doubting that part, but it's kind of fishy to me as to like why he just left the national team, because he's not for sure missing the whole World Cup. You'd think he would stick around and be with the team, right? As a spiritual leader.
Sure.
And if he can play, he just comes on, but he just left.
Is he that though? I wonder, how much integrated and how well he is with the Spanish or the French national side, given his past as well. Obviously, he was banned from the national side for most of the time, and maybe there's lingering politics, dressing room politics, and not necessarily with players, but with technical staff, things lingering there. I'm just speculating here, obviously, but
well, you remember the UEFA Nations
it's an odd
League. In the UEFA Nations League, he and France were both amazing. Remember the Benzema goal against Spain?
Of course,
was it the semifinal or final? Everything seemed to be clicking fine there, and I don't know if something changed because of the Mbappe thing, or maybe Giroud is playing well there as a different kind of player. Yeah, it's a different dynamic when Benzema's not in the field, you know, because Benzema, Griezmann, and Mbappe are kind of similar in the sense that they both like to drop and link up and not play as a pure striker. And it seems because of that, Giroud fits in. Like, it's hard to have all three of them on the field, is basically what I'm saying. And if you have one of them as a pure striker like Giroud, it definitely worked in their first game and their second game. So I don't know.
Even Tunisia.
Yeah. So it's that whole thing is kind of fishy to me, to be honest. But
so I was going to say, even Tunisia, despite losing, it felt like a draw would have been the right result there. Not that.
Well, once France started making their subs at the end and stopped, because they had a whole like B team thing going on to start that game, right? Because they had already qualified.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that is, if you're a Real Madrid fan, then that is definitely, positive news. Having key players of your squad check out early, despite the disappointment, I would imagine that they feel for not having advanced deeper into the tournament. But it's setting up some interesting round of 16 so far. I know we don't have that much time here, Kiyan, and I'm realizing am I shouting? I don't know. I can't be talking too loud. The kiddos are sleeping, but we've got first up. I believe that's the first game, if not mistaken. No, sorry, that's the first games are Saturday at 4. But from the confirmed round of 16, Holland against US. Who are you going with? From what you've seen,
two teams that I'm not that impressed
especially
with.
The US. No.
I will say this about US. It's amazing that they've only scored 2 goals in the group stage. Or is it 1? No, it's 2. And they've managed to come out of the group stage. And it's a testament to their defense. So at least defensively, they've been able to limit chances. And
Holland barely creates them. So
same with US. US barely creates them too, and that's the thing. And so I don't know. It's kind of Holland should win. I'm rooting for Holland. I'll root for Holland. I'll say that.
Yeah, over US. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm quietly scared. I've got a bad feeling. I've been left with a sour taste, particularly after the Netherlands Qatar. This is an odd Oranje that is lacking in all kinds of intensity. In reference to what we were talking about before, I don't see a deep run. If we beat US, which the reason I say if is because I think Oranje are the only ones. We're the only ones that can lose this game, and I think against like this oddly like motivated, inspired, we're American for the country. Like I could see this game, us drop this game 2-1 or something, or 1-0, or 1-1 and go out in penalties. If we do make it through, Australia, Argentina, I guess we're facing Argentina next. So, oi for the Socceroos, if we have any Aussie listeners. Historic, first time in history they've advanced to the latter stage. So that was crazy. Did you see that one? Mexico still scoring the 3rd goal, knocking Poland out.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Argentina Poland, but at the very end, because the Mexico game ended after, they showed that one at the end, and it was. Yeah. I mean, listen, man, the World Cup has been crazy.
So you've got Holland through, Argentina through, and then Argentina against Holland. You're picking Argentina, I suppose. I am. The semis, right?
The bracket seems to be bouncing Argentina's way, is it not?
Well, let's see. On the other side, we've got or over here, it's so Croatia are through. So Croatia will be playing Japan. Goodness gracious. And then 1G against 1H, or excuse me, 1G against 2H. So that'll be Brazil against either Ghana, depending on what happens tomorrow, of course, assuming that Portugal will qualify first. They've got 7 points. Ghana is second and third. So unless Uruguay beats Ghana, which can happen, they will qualify second. So and South Korea still can qualify second. So it's between Uruguay, Ghana, and South Korea. They will face Brazil and Croatia, like I said, Japan. So then the quarterfinals will be either Croatia or Japan. Who are we gonna pick? I'm gonna pick Japan. They're gonna stun Croatia.
It's not crazy. The difference between the two big teams that Japan have knocked off, Germany and Spain, and Croatia, is that Croatia will play deeper. Croatia will play a little more compact defensively and not give Japan some space in transition. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It sounds to me like once we know the official bracket, we'll actually have to sit down and go through it because it's kind of all over the place right now. But
wait, just hear me out here. Hypotheticals, But
yeah,
Japan, Brazil quarterfinal, Brazil, Argentina semifinal.
You want some ratings? You got some ratings right there.
That'll be tasty.
The other thing is that Ghana, Uruguay tomorrow is the entire nation of Ghana, and the players and the coaching staff are wanting revenge for the Suarez handball. Remember that 12 years ago?
Of course.
And I don't know if you saw, but a Ghana reporter asked Suarez, he said, "You're the devil in Ghana, and you haven't apologized for the handball."
Oh my God.
And
went straight for the jugular, huh?
And Suarez was like, "Why should I apologize? It's the Ghana player who missed the penalty, not me. He should apologize." And he's right.
He's right. That is so true.
He took a red card. It would,
And that was a moment. That was a moment. Oh my God.
But and also, I just don't trust Uruguay at all. They stink, man. They've been so bad this World Cup. Definitely could see Ghana winning that game. Definitely, especially with the fire. Like Suarez also said that he doesn't think that Ghana will think about revenge. I think Ghana are circling that. I think they've been circling that since the draw was made.
Interesting.
So that'll be fascinating.
That'll be great to watch.
Bro, let's wrap it here.
Spain, Morocco. Sure, quickly. Spain, Morocco.
Okay.
No, who you got?
Spain.
So potentially Spain, Portugal corridor, huh?
Spain, Portugal, and I think Spain probably beats Portugal too, but
let's see.
Portugal at least has some.
Don't tell Piers Morgan talent. That. Yeah.
Will be fun.
And they got Cristiano Ronaldo's hair follicles, scoring goals.
They're potent follicles, man. They are potent.
There's a lot of gel.
Man, I don't know what it is, but the timing of this podcast has not worked out so far for us to really talk about Argentina after the games. Hi, that's my cue, by the way. I gotta go.
That's all good.
Yeah,
with me,
I'm coming.
Man. I'm
Do you want
to
come say hi? Okay, be quick. Yeah, but I feel like Argentina at some point. Yeah, say hi.
What's happening, little man?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hello.
Hi, you too.
Look at
You too.
look at me and your dad. You too. Hi.
You too. Later. All right. Well, Diego, this was fun. Yeah, all over the place. I don't even know what we talked about today, but
it was good stuff.
we didn't even talk about Belgium crashing out, imploding, all that stuff. I did talk about it on Managing Madrid today, if anyone's interested. But yeah, it's been a crazy
we addressed
World
a little
Cup.
the dressing room issues on the last part.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. All right, we'll be back, I guess, after Spain and Morocco.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing that for patrons over on patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas. So
Wunderbar.
yeah.
Deutschland, auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen, Deutschland. Bye-bye. Again. Once again, crashing out in the group stage. Tschüss.
I'm
Viel
sorry,
Spaß.
German fans. I'm sorry. All right. Peace out. Take care. Later.
Dankeschön. Ciao.